Good afternoon. Good afternoon from beautiful Miami. My name is Maryam Isa Al Ali Zastipel. I put God first. This is my story, and I have a purpose. I help others embrace their authentic self to serve a bigger purpose. Everything I do in my life, from the minute I wake up in the morning to the minute I go to sleep at night, is in service of something bigger than who I am.
Yes, and my name is Alexander Zastipel. My purpose is to bring out the strength in others so they can take full control of their life and gain all rights to their existence.
Rights of their existence, which is very linked to today's topic.
And your authentic self, too.
Let's go. I love that. So, guys, we come to you, Clear and Conquer Live. We come to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. here in beautiful Miami, 9 p.m. in the beautiful Dubai. Powered by the one and only our friend, business partner, and brother, William at Wi-Fi. He is also the CEO of Purple Circle. So thank you so much for helping us with this program day in and day out, William. With that being said, I think there is no time. We just need to go ahead and get deep into the topic. What are we talking about today?
So today's topic is your freedom handcuffed or soaring? Okay, that's the title today. Is your freedom handcuffed or soaring? Okay, exactly like that. Which one is it? And maybe you've been wondering how to create more freedom in your life. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. But first, we want to help you understand if you are free or if you're in handcuffs. Okay, there's a lot of different ways that we're going to be talking about this. But the first point here, we're going to tell you on how do you know that you are free? Like, how do you know that you would be free? Like, what would be the indicators of you being a free being, right? What would that be? Okay. Number one, getting right into it. You act, speak, and think without hindrance or restraint. So you're acting, you're thinking, and you're speaking without any hindrance or restraint. And restraint means like something stopping you, right? Something holding you back, pulling you backwards. Like, that you're trying to go somewhere and they got there's a chain on you and they rip it back, right? So that can be a lot of different things, right? But today we're going to be talking, more about, and just think about this. Maybe it just triggered something in your head, right? That probably means that you're in handcuffs to something, right? For me personally, I'll just tell you a personal story. I was more so handcuffed to the idea that I had to work 9 to 5. And, I was told that once I make 6 figures in my life, that everything's going to be good. I'm going to be set for life is what I was told over and over. Oh, you're set. Oh, you're set out because you're making 6 figures. And what I didn't realize is there was a lot of other chains attached to that.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't the right way I was supposed to be making the 6 figures and 7 figures, right? It wasn't the right path. But I was told that was the way to do it. Go to college, which is what I did. Graduate from high school. I did that too, barely. And go get a job, Alex. Go get a job, and then you can save for retirement, and then you can do all these different things, right? And what I didn't realize is it wasn't my path, right? It was someone else's idea. Like I wasn't dreaming about working a 9 to 5 when I was 7 years old.
Right.
I wasn't dreaming about working at a process plant, which is where I ended up, right?
Right.
That wasn't my dream. That wasn't what I was supposed to be doing, right? So being in that spot, I wasn't able to express my true self, right? I wasn't able to speak the way I wanted to, right? I wasn't able to, think the way I wanted to. Whenever I came up with a really amazing idea, I was suppressed about it because I wasn't the manager in that position at that time, right? Wow. So even though it was a safer, better way, it was suppressed because it wasn't their idea, right? So this can go a lot of different ways, like I said, but for me personally, that's one of the ways that I went.
Yeah.
And I later on figured out that, no, this isn't the path I'm supposed to be on. I'm supposed to be on a different path. I want to be speaking myself. I want to be living my purpose, which we're going to talk about. I want to be living the life that I want, and I want freedom. I want freedom. I want total freedom in all areas of my life, all aspects of my life.
Right.
I was also told one more thing before Miriam goes here. I was also told that everybody in the Middle East was bad. And even worse than that, let me just tell you what I was told, that everybody in the Middle East was terrorists. That's not true. I'm married to someone from Dubai, right? And when I started going and figuring some things out for myself, I started figuring out that I was chained in a lot of ways. Like I was told to think a certain way about people.
Right.
And I was told not to go question things, not to be curious, and not to go figure those things out for myself. Right. And when I say, by the way, when I say I was told those things, I'm talking about society telling me this. Right. My parents never told me these things, by the way. They're amazing parents, and I'm really like proud, and you know, they didn't tell me those things, right? They didn't like put those limitations on me. So my point here is I started having the ability to not allow people to restrain or hinder me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So guys, for those who are tuning in today, we're talking about freedom, and this is the one way for you to know if you are free or not. So you know you are free when you can act, do something in the physical universe, when you can speak and think without anything stopping you or hindering you. And by the way, this is, you do it with respect, of course, and with you being ethical. You know, the idea, your intention here matters. Not, I don't want for someone to clip it and say, oh my God, Maryam Al-Ali said I have to do whatever I want. I'll go do clubbing. No, I didn't say that. I said you can think, you can speak, and you can act. And again, the idea of it is, the bottom line is, do you do something bigger for yourself and for the universe as well? So now here is the thing. I'm going to tell you something from my own experience. Right now, when people see me right now, oh my gosh, Maryam has this freedom. She can act as in, I have a great business that I'm free to run. I have a great marriage that I'm free to choose my partner. I have a great life where I choose who to be in my life or not. So it's some kind of an act, it's certain kind of decisions. So when you're acting, it means you are putting some decisions there in the physical universe. Look, for example, like when you are looking at your physical environment, are you actually making decisions freely? Like what you want to study, where you want to work, where you want to study, who you want to choose as your partner, or even business partner. So if that one is the clear good, you're acting. So that's freedom. And then again, thinking, are you free to think? Are you free to challenge? I remember like when I was, where was I? When I was in school, I remember the first time I started to think for myself. You know, maybe this story, I said it so many times, but the story still resonates with me until today.
Tell it again.
I'll tell it one more time. You know, I was brought to think, and I'm sorry to say this, that, oh, like only be friends with Muslims, don't be friends with people from other countries. Again, it's not from my parents or my family. This came from some teachers or some people who from outside of my environment, right? They were telling me that, oh, Maryam, you shouldn't be friends with Jews. Oh my God, Jews will stab you. Don't be friends with Christians. They are not clean people. They were telling me weird things about people. But when you are in your natural self, like when you are in a mirror of God, you know for sure that there is another side to the truth. And your own self will refuse to listen to another human. So what does God say about this? So I remember one time my teacher at the school, when I started thinking for myself, I think I was 9 or 10 at that time. And in the school, my teacher was saying to me, she was saying, oh, don't be friends with Jews, Muslims, Christians, and so on and so forth, and only be friends with Muslims because Muslims are the best and they are all great people, which is fine. I have friends who are Jews, Muslims, Christians, you know, from everywhere, even people who don't have a religion. Now, she said to me, oh, all of them are bad. And then I raised my hand and I'm like, so I said, my nanny, Lisa, she is raising me up now. She's looking after me. My mom passed away and Lisa is looking after me. Is Lisa a bad person? She's in our house. She's my nanny. She's teaching me English. She's helping me. And the teacher couldn't even confront me. She said, get out. How free do you think I was with stating what I'm thinking? Which again, I was very respectful. I raised my hand. You know, I asked a question. It's not like I was pointing, no, you have to do this.
About it.
Or snooty about it. I was just asking question. So when you are even thinking, are you thinking freely? Your idea, whatever idea you have right now, for example, you had ideas about Arabs. I had ideas about Americans before I get here. You have ideas. Who put that idea in your head? Is it the truth or no? You'll be amazed how much truth you think is the truth, but it's not the truth. because it's not your idea, because you didn't think for yourself. Napoleon Hill says in his book, the devil cannot control someone who can think for themselves. The devil cannot play here. He goes away. I'm like, Barra, get out. You are not allowed in the Zastapel kingdom, right? Get out, devil, because I'm thinking for myself. So that's freedom. When you think for yourself and you're being very respectful. Again, guys, I'm talking about being respectful, and I'm talking about doing it with purpose. And I'm not talking about doing things here and there. Because when I used to say the word free back in the days, when I used to say the word free, I would hear like people say, us. Us means shut up. Us, a good girl, she didn't say that she want to be free. عيب البنت تقولها تبى تكون حرة. شو حرة؟ حرة في شو? You know, it was very like this.
What was that last part?
حرة شو means what is free? Okay? What is free? What do you mean by free? Mr. Guya, and did you want power? Right? So all these things I was growing up with, right? But again, you can think, but you can also think with respect to others and their beliefs. Nobody said you have to be thinking and being aggressive and being very, disrespectful to others. And again, when you speak, also you speak your mind. When I speak to you guys, I'm being very also like I'm stating my opinion. I always say I'm stating my opinion because I have one. And I'm free to say it, right? At work, even if you are working at your job right now, are you acting free? Are you speaking freely? Are you thinking freely? Or not? And again, this gets applied on every aspect of your life. So here's the thing, guys. Freedom is not a bad thing. It's how you execute on that freedom. I could be free and say, people, I remember when I used to come here for college, this is back in the days, people used to think I come here clubbing every month. I used to go to Atlanta for my classes. Oh my God, really? Used to be my friends. Really, Miriam, you go to Atlanta once a month so you can go to class? You don't go here and here? Like this is, you don't go here and here? Really, Miriam, come on. It's Atlanta. Oh my God, you are in the US. You can do whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, but I want to do whatever I want that is serving my purpose, not serving the devil. Right? So that's when you know where you should be putting your freedom at. So
and by the way, so everybody can understand, like, why was that why was that a bad thing, by the way? Because like people in the United States, or across the world, don't understand this part.
Which part?
Well, why was it a bad thing for you to come to America?
Because some people because I was sorry. I need to make it a gradient. I'm sorry.
Yes, no, you're good. Like, so, I wouldn't have understood that.
Because culturally, I mean, again, things are changing now, which is amazing. But culturally, it is not acceptable for a woman to travel outside alone without a male companion, without a male guardian. Again, for back in the days, it was for protection reasons. Back in the days, 2,000 years ago, a woman cannot just go across the desert on her own. She should have a man to protect her, which makes sense at that time. But now, if my brothers doesn't want to fly with me, I tell them, bros, I'm gonna give you business because you are on your own. Go. You are doing your PhD. How are we involved? So my brothers don't want to travel with me. My dad, he's like, no, I love Gewin. So I keep my dreams parked. No, I'm gonna come to the US, and I knew people will talk. But here is the thing: God created me free, with a free soul. For me to serve a bigger purpose. Umar ibn al-Khattab, I told you about him. He's one of the people who ruled the Islamic empire at the beginning of it. And he was saying something, when did you start enslaving people? When their mom bore them free. My mom gave birth to me and I was free. I came free, right? And then God gave me my purpose, free. I might as well go ahead and execute on my purpose. And again, yes, humans will try to stop me, but what is my intention? My intention is to do something bigger for this universe, because, when I see people who created an impact on this world, like all those people who had contributed to humanity in oil, gas, transportation, why can't I contribute as well? Why can't I think big enough of myself to do something like that?
100%.
Thank you for actually bringing that.
Yeah, because by the way, the only reason why someone would hate something or why racism is a thing is because they don't understand. That's all that it is. There's a misunderstood about the other person or the other race or the other whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only reason. And I know that should be true for myself because I found out as I started tracing things back, you know, when people were telling me that everybody in the Middle East, or not everybody, but like, you know, that like there's terrorists over there and all that stuff, right? When I was told that, when I started tracing it back, I actually found out that it didn't come from God. What do you know? It came from a human being. And if you just go trace back where these things are coming from, I promise you, they're from human beings.
Yeah.
Okay? And human beings are not perfect. God is perfect.
Let's go.
Okay? So if you just trace it back, just do it. Unless you just want to ignore it and push it off and just keep on being average and keep on being controlled and being like, you know, in the handcuffs. Right? So if you actually go look back, you're going to find that it was human beings. Right? And, you know, what I have found is human beings make mistakes just by observing. Right? Just an observer that, you know, I'm like, human beings are making mistakes. Why don't I just start listening to God? Why don't I just like start talking to God, the source?
Yeah.
You know, I want to just talk to God instead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then God's telling me, you know, get married to Miriam, you know? And I could have come up with all these reasons not to do that, right? Because I'm from America, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
She's from the Middle East, right? And that right there, if you talk to a human being, some people won't like it. But if you talk to God, it's going to be a different story. And only your relationship with God will you be able to understand. You'll never be able to tell someone your conversation with God because they won't understand.
Preach.
That's something like that's so high level you could never put it into words. Words degrade, mean make less. Words suppress what that conversation actually was. It makes it little. So if you actually try to put something into words that came from God, nobody will actually understand. And I'm talking about a conversation you had. I'm talking to you, and I'm talking about your relationship with God. I believe in God. Maybe there's atheists out there. That's your belief, right? But I believe that when I have a conversation with God, it's between me and God. And when some other human being starts judging it, and they're also the same people are being told, "Thou shalt not judge" by God. When those same people are told that, I'm like, well, you're a human being, so you know, I understand and respect your opinion. But you're not God talking to me right now.
Right. Because if there is doubt comes from the devil. If you have something in your spirit to do something and you don't do it and you start coming up with doubt, that's the devil. That's not God. God doesn't put doubt in your heart. God doesn't put any kind of negativity in your soul. It is the devil. Every time you feel like you're shrinking, it's not God. You are actually God's room in your space at that time is very small. When you feel like you are lit, you have this dream and ambition and oh my God, and you feel like you are opening up, know that God's space in your place is big, you know? And that's how you know that you are connected to God or not. Like I'm gonna tell you, like when Alex and I got together, freedom, act, think, speak, I'm like, oh my God, I have to make that decision. I didn't have any doubt in my heart about this relationship because I'm like, this is God's work. Again, guys, if you know the story, you know the story. I'm not gonna even get into the story on how we got together now, but it is God's work. So when you see God's work right in front of you, how do you say, oh, I'll figure it out later? I'll think about it. Think about it, you means it's in doubt. It means your brain is talking, not your spirit. So with that being said, that's number one, This is how you know you are free. You can talk, speak, act in a free way. Number 2.
100%. So number 2 is embracing your authentic self. And the reason why we have this on here is because when you are actually free, you can just be yourself. You're not limited to, again, another human's opinion, right? Or another human's thing. And we talk about ethics all the time too. You can't, like, in my personal opinion, I'm not going to just, you know, I tried this actually. I went to clubs and, you know, I partied and did all that stuff on the weekends thinking that, oh, I'm free. I can do whatever I want, you know?
Right.
Well, there's also ethics involved. There's also laws, you know, thou shalt not kill, right? So things like that you should definitely not do, you know? So, but that should be pretty obvious, but you should be able to think for yourself, right? You should be able to state your own opinion. In fact, you should be able to say something back to me about what I just said there, right? Maybe you don't agree with a certain whatever, right? Maybe like I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, like
I understand.
Yeah, so
it's you.
Yeah,
it's yourself being you.
You should be able to be yourself. Anyways, yes.
So being yourself, yeah. I love that, Alex. And I know sometimes when you, especially authenticity, when you try to explain it, it's not like it's hard to explain. Sometimes even finding the right word to explain it is a little bit challenging. But I'm going to tell you, how do you know it's your authentic self? When you are in your own space, nobody's looking. And you are outside. Are you the same person? Are you thinking the same? Are you speaking the same? And are you acting the same? If you are not acting, speaking, and thinking the same, you're not in your authentic self. What is authenticity? Maryam Al-Ali definition.
Yeah, this is your sauce.
This is my sauce. You came to my territory now. So when someone says I'm authentic, it means authenticity means what you believe in your heart, what captivates your mind, what flawlessly you declare through your words, how others see you and how you see others. If they are all connected, you are living your authentic self in its most purified form. What do I mean by that? Like, look at yourself right now. Like, do you do same thing? You think you're free or not? You thought going to clubbing was free. I thought going for shopping and driving, and I thought, oh my God, I'm getting a degree is freedom. It's not freedom. That's your right. That's a right. That's just your right. You know, it is your right to do something, right? It's the other side of it. It is, you know, when you are not free, you're gonna start doing things to make you feel you're free. Like, you'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna go shopping, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go clubbing, whatever it is, to think, oh, I have the freedom to do it. Well, in fact, when you are in your authentic self, you are in your own genius. You tap into you. And when I say you, I don't mean your physical unit. I'm talking your spiritual unit. You know, I was spending the weekend with a Grant, you know, and some amazing people this weekend. And Grant Cardone said, like, we take care, spoken to us ladies, you take care so much of your makeup and hair and nails. What about the physical unit?
The spiritual unit.
Sorry, the spiritual unit. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of you guys, like, you take care of the cars, the watches, the canduras, the whatever. What about the spiritual unit? That's why it's not your authentic self. You think that your happiness comes from owning materials. The more you connect to materials, the more less you connect with who you are. The more you value the Gucci's and things like that without valuing yourself and connecting to who you are, the less likely you are who you are. You are trying to be someone else. And the minute you try to be someone else, you're not free. The minute you start acting like someone else, you are not free. The minute you try to look like someone else physically, you're not free. You're trapped. So you know you're free when you embrace your authentic self. You know exactly who you are. You know your genius. You know you're born free. And you know that everything you say has God connected to it. Had something bigger connected to it. God talking through me right now.
I can see that.
It's God saying things right now through me. And just because you know who you are, you connect to who you are. And right now, the words I'm telling you right now, it's coming from God. Sometimes I'm telling you, when you are connected, it just comes to you. And you don't need to explain to people. Oh no, you need the people who understand. They're like, I get it. I know what you're saying, but people will be like, what is this cliche, kushy-mushy thing? You're not real to yourself. So number 2, embrace your authentic self.
Yeah, 100%. So, and this means just being yourself, you know? For a very long time, me personally, I was trying to be everybody else, which is the exact reason why I went out and clubbed and did drugs and did all those experimental things that, you know, I thought I was just supposed to be living my life and embracing freedom. I had a huge misunderstanding what that actually meant.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people will think that is freedom, you know. But what I was actually doing is I was committing a crime against myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I was being terrible to myself. None of those things are actually good for me. Come on, Alex, be honest with yourself. Do you think that going to the club and being around a whole bunch of people that are drunk and don't have good intentions and are doing all these, you know, shady things, basically, do you think being around that crowd is actually good? You know, but I was justifying it. I was like, well, everybody's doing it. Well, you know, like my friends do. Everybody where I'm from does this, you know? And I want to have fun while I'm young. I want to be doing all these things while I still can, you know?
Yeah.
And I was justifying myself quitting on my dreams because that's what really happened if you dig down deep into it.
Wow.
Yeah. So most likely, you know, you probably quit on your dreams a long time ago. And that's the only reason why you would try to fill that time with all these things that don't even matter.
Right.
Because you're not actually living your purpose. You're not being your authentic self. You're just filling the gaps in with a lot of materialistic things, fake people.
Wow.
And then you wonder why you're lost and depressed and you don't feel fulfilled. You don't have that passion anymore like you did when you were 5 years old.
Correct.
Right? Remember when you were 5 years old, you were running around everywhere. In fact, our parents, right, had to like be like, don't do that, right? Because you're just running around everywhere, you know? And like when this happens, like the child just has so much passion and drive and like they just want to go, you know, like they have that dream still.
Yeah.
Right? When you're younger, you still have that dream. And what eventually happens is you start giving up on it, right? Because of all these other ideas that came into your life, right? Wow. At one point you were dreaming and now you're not, or maybe you are now again, but most likely you're not. My point is just be yourself, you know, like be who you like who you actually are. And it's a very deep thing. And it's just one of them things where, you know, be who you are, but let's be honest here. Are you actually being yourself? Or are you just trying to please everybody else? Are you just trying to like be stuck in the materialistic world, not work on your spiritual condition? Maybe you spend 2 hours doing your makeup and hair, but you spend 0 on who you really are.
Wow. I feel like Clear and Conquer is diverting somewhere else. Okay, good. I love that. I love that. I hope you guys are taking notes, you know, because it's very important what Alex is saying here. And you mentioned something very profound about the people who Alex was justifying. He said, I would go clubbing and justify. I used to hang out with ladies who has nothing to talk about but hair and makeup and gossip. Hash. That's all what they do. And what we do in their gatherings is who's dresses well, who wore the best, latest Gucci, and who is wearing it was all materialistic. There was nothing about the spirit, the soul, the dreams. There was a time they were outcasting me because I started, you know, drifting away as I'm thinking about life and purpose and goals, right? So I remember Alex and I went to this place, we're not gonna say where, but it has a casino. We were having a meeting in that, it's a hotel and casino here in our area. So we went there and I'm like, there was like a day club. First time in my life I see a day club like live. And I look at this and I'm like, what good will come out of that? If that's freedom to someone. For me personally, this is again speaking my truth. What good will come out from that? There is naked people, there is alcohol, there is dancing, and there is a casino, and next to it there is a hotel. Like what good? Good guys connect the dots. So what good will come out from that? If something bad happens, you cannot say, oh my God, why did this happen to me? You went there. Huh? You were drunk, you were naked, and you're dancing. What kind of vibe are you going to be attracting? We should do another topic for that. But anyways, so when you embrace your authentic self, your nature, like if you're not who you are, you're going to try doing things that are not in alignment with who you are. You're going to try to create it, connecting with the materialistic world more than you connect with who you truly are. This topic is on fire. What is number 3, Alex?
Number 3, before I get to number 3, one real quick story. I would actually justify going out to the clubs and things like that and be like, other people don't understand. I can't believe that other people stop drinking. Their lives are so dull and so average. And I was justifying the drinking and all that stuff and saying that other people were wrong for not drinking, right? I was saying that in my head. My friends said the same thing, by the way. So we were all justifying the drinking and getting into trouble and all those things by saying that other people are wrong for not doing it. Crazy. Anyways, number 3, to figure out if you are free or not, right? Figuring out if you are free, you are not a slave, right? You are not a slave. God did not create you to be a slave. Let's just talk about God here. Did he? Did he create you to be a slave? And some people actually think that some beings were created to be a slave. Imagine that. Just not too long ago, Black people were actual slaves, and people believe that God created them to be slaves. Is that true for you guys?
Crazy.
A lot of people were wrong about that one. You know, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
You know, so I believe that we're, as humans, wrong about some other things too. And you can take that whichever way you want to go. But I know that, we'll talk about a different kind of slavery here in a second, but I know that that wasn't right. It was Martin Luther King Day yesterday in America here, and he always said, I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream. And like in a lot of ways, it has changed so much just in the last 100 years. I'm talking about America here, right? I don't know all the logistics of the rest of the world, but America used to be like that, and that was not okay. And he took a stand against everybody, right? And he broke through the chains, the handcuffs. Okay, now this can go a lot of different ways. I know for me, I was handcuffed to my job by money. And a lot of you can relate to being handcuffed to money, right? For me personally, I was making well over 6 figures. It was about almost $200,000 US dollars a year, which is about 750,000 dirham, right? With all the benefits and all that, right? And I know that for a long time, I didn't want to leave and go live my purpose because I was making money in that area. Now there's plenty of people that's what they're, they want to do. That's what they is the best thing for them. That's fine. All the people that still work there, fine, right? But for me, I knew that there was something bigger. Yes. And I was committing a crime against myself for not going and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right? That's a crime.
Yes.
I was a criminal to myself for not going after my purpose, not living my authentic self. Yeah. That's a crime. And you might think only, killing someone is a crime. No, I think that's a crime too. Not living your purpose. Because your purpose is what God created you for. And don't take my word for it. Just look up the word purpose in the dictionary. It's the reason for which something exists. So why do you exist? The reason for which something exists. And my belief is that God created me for a certain existence.
Let's go.
He did not create me just to work a 9-to-5 or just work a job. It's something bigger than that.
Right.
I can't even believe that I was just created to work a job, retire, and die. And maybe not even be able to use my retirement money, by the way. Who knows, actually. So I live for every day. I'm not a slave to a job anymore. I am in control of my business now. And when people work for us, they have the choice and the freedom to work for us, grow, expand into a massive empire with us. Right? That's their freedom. That's their choice. We don't tell them that they have to work here, or that we don't chain them and say that they're forced to. In fact, we don't even have retirement accounts. We do a different form of incentive.
Let's go.
Right? And there's just a reason for that. We have our certain system, but we make sure that every single employee, every single person that works with us, our clients, they all have a choice. We don't force them to do anything. Yes. Right? And that's the beautiful thing about life is there's the freedom of choice is what God gave us.
I love that.
Otherwise, I always say we would be robots if we didn't have choice.
Yeah.
Because everything would be perfect.
Absolutely. And here is the thing. Guys, even if you think if you go to, I spoke about it earlier. I was doing an Instagram live today. If you go to a job and you feel like you have to, you have no other choice, someone else own you as a property, you are a slave to that job. Where in fact, there are other people who show up to work excited. They love what they're doing. They're contributing to their jobs. Their jobs is contributing to them. They're creating an impact and they're happy.
And people think that's weird, by the way.
And they think, where do you work?
Yeah.
It's not about where
Why are you so happy?
Why are you so happy, right? One, they know their purpose. Those people who see them happy and excited and they're making an impact, they know their purpose. They all know their purpose. So, and sometimes, by the way, I noticed something. There are some entities that are actually not even enslaving their employees. It is the employees that sometimes they are having a victim mindset, and they say, oh my God, we cannot do it because of my job, blah, 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 blah. Where in fact, I know so many amazing entities who provide so many growth opportunities, training, career progression. But if you are not willing to unchain, you're not gonna get it. Oh my God, oh, I get promoted, it's more responsibility, but I want more money. How can you want more money ethically? How can you want more money without doing more work? Like, you wanna do the same job and get more money without working even more? How is that ethically right? Like, the more you get paid, the more your responsibility is, the higher ethical you should be. You know, so here is the thing, like, when you are free, you know you're not a slave. Whenever I was working, and I worked in 4 big amazing entities, right, 3 British banks, and I worked in a semi-government in UAE, you know, I was free. Like, I wouldn't just be scared. Oh my God, what if I remember one time there was a lady who I told her, like, why don't you go ahead? She's like, she come to me complaining, oh my God, Mariam, I've been working here for so long, they didn't promote me. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Why don't you go talk to your land manager? She's like, oh my God, Mariam, I want to talk to him, but you know, I've been coming late. So you know you're doing something out of ethics. So you know you're doing something. Oh yeah, I have so many of these. Maybe I should start sharing corporate stories.
Oh, I don't want to talk to them about coming late.
Yeah, because you know you're doing something. You know you're doing something wrong.
Oh my goodness.
You know you're out of ethics somewhere, and you want that thing, but you just want to stay a slave because you're out of ethics. You know, so you know you can even. So again, the idea of it is, every single place I worked in, I was free. It's not like free, oh my God, I come whenever I want and I leave whenever I want. No, I'm ethical. I come on time, I leave, and sometimes the first one to leave, to come there, and the last one to leave the job. I would stay sometimes really late, and that's fine. It's my job, you know. It's like, oh my God, غصب عنا, we're staying at work. Oh my God, I have to stay. No, I want to stay. That's different. When you want to stay, you're free. If you have to stay, you're not. Okay? So every single place, I knew everybody. I knew the CEO, I knew the chief. I knew the chiefs. Everybody that I knew, because I'm free to go talk, speak, think, and act, you know? So I was never a slave. I never accepted on my spirit to be enslaved. As Alex said, God didn't create us to be slaves.
Yep. 100%.
Slaves means that you are a property of someone else. You know, that someone else has control over you, and you don't have any will of any kind to think, act, or even speak.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that used to be a commonality. Like I said, with African American Black people, right? Like that's not right, you know. But they were a property, right?
Yes.
And again, Martin Luther King stood up for that, right? And he had a dream so big that it made an impact. Now, there still is racism out in the world, right? There's still people that don't like that still, but it's shrinking, right? And it's not that big anymore. Like it's still happens. It's not like it's not big, but it's shrinking, which is the great news, right? Because there's a lot of people standing up against it. There's a lot of people that don't believe in it anymore, you know. But it used to be very common, so there was a big common agreement and belief in it. And probably deep down inside, I'm sure those people felt that it was wrong. I'm sure they knew, like ethically, that it was wrong, but they still did it. Yeah. So my point here is like it could be a lot of different areas. For me, it was money. I was more of attached to the money. It wasn't even the job itself, right? It wasn't like they were making me stay there or any of those, you know, jobs that I had. It's not like I had to be there, but I put myself in a position and a belief that the money was senior to my purpose. Yeah. Like I was more motivated by the money rather than living my purpose. My purpose is far bigger than money ever will be. Right. And money's completely made up anyways. And another topic. So here's the thing, you guys, don't be a slave, you know, like just you live your life, you know, embrace your authentic self to serve a bigger purpose. Right. I like the wave. Anyways, we're going to help you guys understand now how you can be free.
What can you do?
Some solutions to this, right? Yeah. So what you can do about this. Okay, go ahead, Mariam.
So for those who are tuning in, this is a Clear and Conquer Live. We come to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Dubai time. So we just talked to you about how do you know you're free. So whether you are free or not, we want to talk to you guys now about how can you be free or even more free. How you get even more freedom. Number one, I need my crown because I'm gonna talk about it. If you wanna be free, find your definite purpose in life. Again, I would love to quote the amazing Napoleon Hill. He says, "The devil cannot control someone who knows their definite purpose in life, who can think for themselves and know their definite purpose in life." So here is the thing, guys. Like when you know your purpose, oh my gosh, find your purpose. For me, this is a topic that's gonna be my legacy. I'll talk about it for the rest of my life. Okay? Oh my God, the purpose again. تتكلم عن الpurpose. تتغلب عن she's talking about purpose. Yeah, of course. I'm with you. Exactly. Right? So here is the thing. It's when you find your purpose, you taste freedom. You know you've been created for bigger than the job and the environment and people's criticism and the challenges and the obstacles. Your purpose is much bigger than that and it's pulling you. But then you have to have the very strong will to be free for you to go ahead and find and live your definite purpose in life. There is some people who I actually helped them find their purpose, but they gave up the minute they saw some kind of an obstacle on their way. They gave up the minute they found like there is an obstacle toward their existence. So they stopped. Like they stopped everything. Like, oh my gosh, I have this problem, I'm quitting. So when the freedom, when you know your purpose, your spirit will feel like I'm here for something bigger. My responsibility is bigger than just this job, this only creating a family and so on and so forth. Even creating a family, guys, one day your kids will grow up and leave you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go find Mariam Al Ali's lives, right? What are you gonna do at that time? You need to find a different way to go ahead and connect. So number one, you wanna be free, find your purpose. Freedom have another meaning, which is purpose. When you find your purpose, you act, speak, and think freely without any restraints.
Yeah, and to add to that, Miriam's a purpose queen, but to add one thing to that, like when I found my purpose, I started going after not what I want, but what I deserve, right? Miriam, right? One example, the best example, which is Miriam, and Miriam's the best, and she's cute. Look at her,
Thank you. With my frizzy hair today, but yeah, that's okay. The spirit is not frizz.
Yes, the spirit is not frizz.
Go ahead.
Okay.
That's good.
That is good.
Yeah.
But anyways, so like your definite purpose, when I found mine personally, I started like living the life I was supposed to be living and living for every single day versus just the weekends, just the holidays. Like I would get so excited about Christmas and I would get so excited about the weekend that I can go just destroy myself with alcohol. That was my excitement. And then I hated going to work. I hated the rest of the days, which is half of my life, more than half of my life. So why should I hate half of my life? Or, why should it be like that? Instead, I found a whole different groove. And I even gave up alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol in over a year now. It'll almost be 2 years, actually.
In July.
Moly. Wow, that's crazy.
Holy moly.
Yeah, holy moly. It's a year and a half. Okay. Yeah. But my point here is I actually even gave it up. And that was the thing. One of the things I loved the most was alcohol, right? Because it drowned the confrontation that I wasn't living my purpose. Like it helped me ignore things that I should have been looking at.
Wow.
It helped numb the pain. It helped me get this social influence because I didn't know how to fit into to the real groups I was supposed to be in.
Wow.
Like the entrepreneur groups. I didn't know how to talk to entrepreneurs. I didn't know how to communicate. So where did I put myself instead? I put myself in the environment of alcohol, drugs, and things like that. Yeah. Okay, now that is exactly how I ended up there, right? So now I started feeling like that I wasn't supposed to be doing those things, right? That I was actually lying to myself and justifying something that wasn't true. And I started figuring out that there was something bigger, which I knew, but I lost sight of. Okay. And once I found my purpose, everything 10x'd. Especially, I mean, our relationship, Miriam and my relationship, it didn't only 10x, it's infinite. It's like you can't put a cap on our relationship. It's the best thing that has ever happened to me, right? And I say that with a lot of confidence because like we are so aligned with each other and we were like literally meant to be together. There's no doubt about that. It's so obvious. There were so many like clear signs that I would have been going straight against God and telling God no to his face if I wouldn't have done this. And that's not right, obviously. So but this is exactly what we did. And ever since then, everything is 10x. Our relationship infinite, everything else is 10x. Wow. I got closer with William, right? Miriam and myself are super aligned with William and Nat, right? And William produces this show. This is number 37 or 38. I think this is the 38th episode. We have not missed one.
Thank you,
think
William.
about that.
Thank you for holding us accountable.
Yeah. We haven't missed one. You can go back and look at every single episode on Tuesday at noon Eastern, 9 p.m. UAE time. We have not missed an episode, right? So what I'm saying here is a lot of things started to align when I found my purpose. What's your purpose worth? Well, maybe you're putting a price on it, but for me, it's infinite because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's the reason for which I exist.
Wow.
So find your purpose.
Yeah. So that's number one.
Yes.
So shall we go to number two and three because of the time as well?
Yes, number two is being around. I did a little bit. I did, yeah.
Go ahead.
Being around the right people that are also acting as if they are free, right? They're also seeking freedom. They're also free thinkers. Like, I'm not talking about free thinkers as in like F this, F that. I'm being myself. I'm swearing all the time.
Yeah, they told us to do what Maryam and
do whatever
Alex
I want. And now I'm going and stealing candy from kids and whatever. Right? That's not what I'm saying. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying people that can think for themselves.
And they're ethical too.
And they're ethical too.
Very important. Put your ethics in space. If it's not in space, forget about freedom. Go ahead.
Ethics always has to be like that is like number one for us. It has to be there. Ethics. Okay? Ethics. Because if that's not there, someone could be being themselves. Authentic, whatever. I guess they could be being themselves if that's what they think they're doing. And they could be very wealthy, but it doesn't matter to us at all if ethics is not in place.
Yes.
Ethics always has to be there. Now I know that William's a very ethical person.
Yes.
He always shows up to every single one of these calls. He has always given us things like there's an exchange between this friendship. He's not just giving us things and we're not just giving him things. It's not like a one-way street. And a lot of you are maybe just looking to take things from people.
Yeah.
Start giving more things. William's a super great example of that. He just gives, right? And he starts to get things back, right? Yeah. And my point here is be around the right people. That's super crucial because you are the 5 people you hang around with most. And if you're like me and I was hanging around with a whole bunch of alcoholics, I became the 6th alcoholic, right? 5 alcoholics that said they were funaholics. Another justification word. And I started saying the same thing. Actually, I think I might have been the one that made it up. But a funaholic, Yeah. I guess I don't even know what that means. Like what? Anyways, I guess if I black out and almost die, that's called being a funaholic. Because like literally like that's happened to me. Okay. So you have to you have to be extremely aware of who you're surrounded with.
Okay, great. That's I to be honest with you, I cannot really add anything more to that. But again, when you are being around people who are free thinkers and they're ethical, I'm telling you, they're even gonna push you farther with that. Like when I remember being around people who are not ethical, it's insanely interesting what happens when that actually takes place. So be around the right people and be free. Freedom, nobody can take that away from you. When you understand your true essence, nobody can take that away from you. With that, I want to move to number 3 because of the sake of the time as well. How can you be number 3? Know that freedom is your birthright. Nobody allows you to be free. You are free. You are a good person. You're ethical. You want to change the world. You want to help humanity. You want to help the mankind. You want to help your family. You want to help your community. You want to help your nation. And freedom, you say, I'm going to think. I'm going to speak respectfully with ethics. And also, I'm going to be acting. I'm going to be doing something. Because I'm going to tell you, talking blah, 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 without actually doing some act, it's a waste of time. Mediocrity? What is
mediocrity?
Mediocrity. That's the word that I cannot even. Okay. English is my second language. And just because you say it, you don't do. You just talk, right? So again, it's beautiful when you understand that it's your birthright. God created you free. God didn't create you to be a slave to anything. Even a slave to an idea. That doesn't have to be a person even. It could be an idea that you have that you don't think enough of yourself. Like when you say, oh my God, can I be rich one day? What is enslaving you at the minute? It's you. Freedom is your birthright. Your freedom to think is your birthright. Thinking that you can be a good person, someone who can create a huge impact, it is your birthright. And nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah, 100%. And you just have to lean into that, and you have to know that there's just things you're supposed to be doing and things that you aren't. And like whenever you say something or do something that's not in your own ethics, it. Like we don't have to think about this and be like analyze like if we're doing something right or wrong. We know. And I knew that like drinking and getting slammed all the time every single weekend was not good. Right. But I justified it. I was like, oh, I'm a funaholic. These are my friends. And like, I'm supposed to be doing this. And it's not like there was anything wrong with those people, by the way. It's not like they were bad people. It's just that I started thinking about something really big and massive, and everybody else would want to go drinking on the weekend instead.
Yeah.
And that's not what I wanted anymore.
Yeah.
So here's something you guys need to know too. When you're growing and expanding, and other people aren't, they're going to probably criticize you. They're probably going to say something because they think of you as the old person, right? The person you used to be. So that's the reality that they have. That's the way that they see you. And what I'll tell you is that's completely fine. Like you just have to keep on doing what you're supposed to be doing. Again, it's having the conversation with God, not another human being.
Yeah.
Right. It's like for me personally, like I want to have the relationship with God, not a whole bunch of human beings.
Yeah.
Not that human beings are bad or anything like that. It's just that we as human beings have flaws.
Right.
Right. So have that conversation with God. Like literally just talk to him. Right. Ask yourself, is this right? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Constantly be questioning things. Right? You should be questioning things. You should be, by the way, dissatisfied with where you're at right now, because there's always work that we can be doing. And that's what I have found is the best part, is like knowing that freedom, like I have the freedom of choice. I can either do right or wrong. Again, otherwise I'd be a robot. I can do the right thing or the wrong thing. And I also can always be getting better. And I know that I always can go to a higher potential. Like I can always be doing more. And that's where I reach as I reach to the future. I don't get stuck in the past and I've made mistakes in my past. I've done the wrong things. I've, done all of those things in the book. Right. But here's the thing. I know that that's my past. It doesn't have anything to do with where I'm going.
Let's go. Go. That's power right there, guys. That's power. And again, here's the thing. Freedom is a beautiful thing, and again, as Alex said, have a conversation with God. Yeah. No filters. Talk to him, see what he's going to tell you. You're going to connect with your authentic self, with who you truly are. Other than that, you're going to be trying to be like someone else. And the minute you start trying to be like someone else, you're not going to go far with your life.
100%. Be yourself.
So thank you guys for tuning in. This was a Clear and Conquer Live. We come to you guys every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 p.m. Dubai time. Be free, think freely, act freely, and speak freely, as long as you are respectful and ethical, and as long as your intention is to help humanity and serve the mankind. Take care, guys, and see you next Tuesday.
Be great, everybody. Clear and Conquer.
Clear and Conquer.